Welcome in to another episode of Profits Picks. We have two games on the slate. We'll talk about a side, we'll talk about a total, and we'll also discuss some player props, as many ways as possible for us to make some money on this slate. And as always, we'll go in order that the games go off. So we'll start with Toronto Raptors facing the Boston Celtics. Opening Raptors -1, currently seeing -2.5 out there. Total opening 215, and has since gone up. We're seeing 217. And I disagree with the move on the total. Toronto has shot poor from three. I think they do shoot better, but they're a team that's defense first. Boston, also a great defensive team. I don't think we see Marcus Smart being a 3-point specialist again. If Toronto's going to win, if Toronto's going to be competitive in these games, it starts on the defensive end. That's the kind of team that they are. And looking at Boston, just in this range, totals greater than 215, less than 219. The under is 15-5-1 on the year. I have to think it continues to go that way. I probably like the first half under even more. I think the emphasis on defense starts from the beginning of the game for Toronto. And if I have to look at, so if I'm going for the total, I'll look for first half under and full game under as well. Disagree with the line move. If I'm looking at the side, I agree with the line move for one, just because the simple fact, I think Toronto, I mean, they had a chance to win the last game. They kind of gave it away. Like I said, I don't think Marcus Smart shoots that good again. Toronto, I think they shoot better than they did. They've shot extremely poor, especially from three in this series so far. I think Toronto comes out early. I mean, they're down 0-2. They don't have time to wait. If I like Toronto, I mean, I like them probably on the full game, but I like them early even more. If anybody's going to have a sense of urgency out of the two teams, it will be Toronto. First half is even shaded more towards them, -1.5. I like it. If they're going to come out and jump on, if they're going to win this game, I think they do it from the beginning. So that's the way that I would lean, -1.5 for Toronto. And on the full game, if I had to take it, I mean, I probably would take the money line, but -2, that's the only other way I would look. I wouldn't really look towards Boston just because I know who's going to be the more hungry team tonight, or who should be the more hungry team tonight. If I look at some player props on this game, before we move to player props, actually, we talked about a little bit of the first half, but Toronto, after against the spread losses, 17-5-1 ATS. You just have to think that they come here, take care of business. With that said, so let's go to player props. If I'm looking for somebody to come out and have a good game, there's one guy who's been shooting it well, even when the rest of the team hasn't been. I know OG Anunoby had a good game last time out, but I would focus more on Ibaka. His 3-point prop is sitting at 1.5, -108. He's hit three-pointers in the first two games. He seems to me, like, just from eye test from watching, like he's shooting it the best out of everybody for the Raptors. Like we said, we think the Raptors have to shoot better as a team, or I think the Raptors have to shoot better as a team. They can't shoot that poor from 3-point again. And if I'm looking at guys, he's one of the guys that I'm interested in. Obviously, you could say Van Fleet or Anunoby again, or even Kyle Lowry. But off the bench, he's been consistent, 3 each time, only sitting at 1.5. Don't think it's a tall ass. So that's the way that I will lean in that game. So we're going under, lean first half under, full game under, first half Raptors, full game Raptors, and Ibaka 3-pointers over. Next game on the slate, we have Denver Nuggets facing the Los Angeles Clippers. I hate saying that. Clippers, I wish they would just move away. Me being from LA, I'm a Lakers fan. But opening, Clippers -8, currently seeing -9 out there. Total opening 226, and immediately was pushed down to 223, but we're seeing 222.5 on the total. And from a side perspective, I mean, Denver is tired, right? They're coming off a 7-game series already. they look like they were tired in that last game. They get 1 day's rest. You heard Jamal Murray in the interview right after the game. He said, "We don't even get 2 days rest." He was like, "Oh, that's a bummer. These guys are tired." I think that Clippers take advantage here tonight. If I'm looking at the Clippers, though, I would rather not lay that big number. I don't think that Denver will necessarily lay down. I think that Denver can hang within double digits. I would probably look more towards Clippers on the first half. And full game, I think Denver can maybe hang around even, not lose by double digits. I think they're a good team. I think they can still score. Um, I think Jokic, I just think the Clippers defense, them having rest, I think they'll be able to hold Denver down a little bit more than usual. So with that said, I'll lean Clippers first half. I would like them to come out early with that rest. And Denver, I think they'll be a little bit more sluggish, but maybe they get punched around. Denver's a team that doesn't really start out fast. Going back even to last year's playoffs, or last year, maybe even during the regular season, first quarters, they were not good in the first quarter. They kind of get better as the game goes along. So I would lean towards the Clippers first half, Denver full game. And the total, if we look at the total for this game, there's a few ways I look at it. I mean, Denver's been going over like crazy, right? They went over, they went under that last game, but before that, I think it may have been 12 of their last 13 or 13 of their last 14. Thing is, what has changed for Denver? I have to go towards Gary Harris. I know he didn't play that many minutes in the first game, but he played some in that second, and he's going to play here again today. Nuggets, they were going over because their wing defenders were not in there. They're still missing Barton, but at least they have Harris back. Looking at the Nuggets, when they face these good teams, 55% win teams or greater, and Gary Harris is in the lineup. The under is 16, 6-2. Looking at the Clippers, what's changed over there? They've been going over, but what's going to change there? Pat Beverly is back in the lineup. Looking at the Clippers with Pat Beverly in the lineup versus competition, 55% win teams or greater. The under is 18-7. And lastly, you can just look at teams in the playoff in round one of a series or game one of a series. They have one of the teams has 3 or more days rest with a total between 215 and 225. The under is 15-3. I'm seeing too many signs point towards this under. I mean, if we look at it black and white, or just look at it how these teams have been playing lately, yeah, Denver's been going over. Yeah, Clippers have been going over. But you got to look at what's been making them go over. When Gary Harris stopped playing, when Will Barton was out of the lineup, that made Denver not able to defend. Clippers, when Pat Beverly is not in the lineup, it makes them a higher scoring team, a less defensive team. So I like those looks there. I look at the Clippers under, what is it, 222.5, what it is right now. And if we're going to look at some player props, we're saying we like the Clippers early. Denver may be tired. We like less points in this game. I think we focus more on Denver's side. Denver. Also, before I move to player props, I did want to bring something up. But just looking at, I mean, let's talking about these games that have been going on. It's been some pretty close games, pretty good games. But the referees have been taking over a lot of these games. I think a little bit more has to be put into these referees because so far in the bubble, they're making quite a significant difference. And all 3 of these refs, seems like their games majority go under. 54.4%, 54%, 56.6%. I mean, it's not end all be all, but I think it means something. I'm just giving information that I found. We saw Scott Foster last night hates the Rockets, trying every which way to get the Thunder to win that game. We've seen a couple others, so I just like to bring it up. I hate that part of the game, but it is a part of the game. If we look at player props, like I said, we'll look at the Nuggets side. The 2 main scoring guys are supposed to be Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic. I have to look at both of them under. I mean, the Clippers are a great defensive team, right? They've had plenty of days to rest. They get their Patrick Beverly back in the lineup. Um, Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi, etc., etc. So many defensive options. I think Jamal Murray gets held down a little bit in this game. He's been emptying the gas tank to get Denver out of the last series. What, 50-point game, 50-point game, just carrying him on his back. I think it takes a toll. I think we see it here tonight, and I don't think he reaches 25 points. His point total last I saw was sitting at 24.5. I would be going under that number, and if we're gonna play somebody else, it has to be the second guy, Nikola Jokic. Out of the games he's played versus the Clippers all year, he's not went over 25.5. I don't know if that was a mistake, but I saw his points at 25.5, and I would have to lean under that. I think that's entirely too much. He hasn't scored that versus them all year, and they're as tired as they are. It's hard to see. I mean, it's hard to see both of those guys reach the total. So we're looking at Clippers first half. We're looking at Denver full game. We're looking at this game to go under. And props, we like Murray under. We like Jokic under, both for points. No series plays on this game here. Maybe we'll look at them again tomorrow with the Rockets and the Lakers starting a new series. Thank you for rocking with me on another episode of Profits Picks. Best of luck if you tail. Good luck on all of your action. We'll be back again tomorrow, Friday, for the last show of the week. And let's get that cash.